Everyone's in, right? Super. So a few of you will know our guest speaker today. He's spoke at one of the lunches for the RDLC and was really, really well received. He's a former British, Commonwealth, European and world boxing champion. He's also a world leading inspirational coach and motivational speaker. He's an author of a book that's called Man Up, World Champion Way. And during lockdown, he's created a brand new 12-week coaching program on how to change your life. Again, the World Champion Way. I'd like to welcome Billy Schwer, the most energetic person I've met other than Gary, to run you through how to win more often. Thank you, Billy.
Ready to rumble. Let's little video for you. So here we go, right? So how to win more often, how to produce world-class results. So here's the tip, right? If you could just take this one thing away from you today, how you win more often is simply you start off by thinking you can. Because what you think about, you get more of. So if you can think you can win more often, you will start to win more often, I promise you. Now, boxing is not an easy business. It's tough, it's brutal, and it's difficult. A bit like life, right? So boxing is a great metaphor for life. And what we're experiencing right now is kind of a similar thing. It kind of relates. So we want to win more often, right? Especially as we're coming out of the lockdown. So we got an opportunity. Now, I'm excited about the future. I mean, let's go back to January 2020. Remember, we all had the excitement of 2020. We all had the 2020 vision. And the future looked bright, and then bang, we got knocked back. Now, did we get knocked out? I didn't get knocked out. I got knocked down. I got set back a little bit. So what we're looking at is how to win more often, because you can't win all the time. It's impossible. If you can win more often, consistently over time, you will win the game. And that's what it's all about, right? And I'm going to share with you my 7-step winning formula. Now, these 7 steps, I promise you, if you apply these to yourself personally, to your work and your business, and to your life, you'll produce world-class results. I promise you. I promise you. So that's what it's all about. As we come out of lockdown, how are we going to be in the future? Are we going to sit still? And it's like Gary was talking about it earlier on about, it's just walking back into the office. It's different, right? We feel differently. But how are we going to get back into the zone, get back into the belief that we can produce world-class results? And we've got to do that because we've got to step up. And this is mental boxing, because the mental boxing match that we all have, that we've been all having over the last couple of months, you know, that the internal dialogue, can I, can't I, what's it all about? The world is different. The conversations we're having with our partners, our spouses and our business partners, they can get a bit fraught, right? But it's the mental boxing match that we're going to have with ourselves. That's what's going to allow us to produce world-class results. And that's going to take something. Some mental boxing. Just think about it. I mean, every morning when you wake up, it's there straight away. The internal dialogue, the voice in your head. And is that inspiring you? Does it empower you to get the life that you want, produce the results that you want? So think about that, because that's key. And it's about living with passion, power, and purpose. So that may have left us during the last couple of months. It may have done. but you've got to reignite it. You've got to find it again. Where is your power? It's the internal power, because what a lot of us have done, and I've experienced it, I've seen people, they've given their power away. They've given their power away to the pandemic. Why? You've got to get responsible. Don't be a victim of what we're dealing with. We've got to be the cause of, the creator of our futures. Because if it ain't you, then who? And if not now, when? So we've got to be fully responsible. That's the key. So step number one is win or lose, you choose. As I mentioned, would you like to be the cause of your life and not at the effect of it? Because that's where the power exists, but it's an inside job. We can't expect somebody to give it to us. We have to generate it ongoingly, daily. It's a daily thing. It's a moment by moment thing. It's a phenomenon where you're creating your own power. Winning more often. Now, I'm assuming you'd all like to win more often. I have no doubt about that. So the way to win more often, as I said, is about thinking that you can, because once you start engaging your brain in that positive thought, that positive mindset, you will win more often. So it's about practicing and recognizing and being aware of the choices that you're making moment by moment, because that's where the source is of the power. Because if you think about it, what has you be who you are and where you are in your life right now is a result of the choices and the decisions that you've made in the past. So especially these last couple of months, we've been choosing and deciding things about life, the world, ourselves, and the future. So we got to be responsible, because we got to create the future ahead of us. And that's where our inner power comes in. And we got to just moment by moment be aware of and mindful of the choices that we're making. Moment by moment, because then we get the power back. And win or lose, you do get to choose. So if you were to really actively be aware of the choices you'll make, your life will be different. I promise you. A lot of us are going through this pandemic. We're frightened and fearful, but we're unconscious also. So we got to get really conscious, and we got to really create and generate ourselves daily, because it's a new world, right? But let's step up into the new world. I mean, there are many positives to come out of the pandemic, if you could think of it like that, because it's about attitude, right? Is your attitude having you win or lose? And that's where to focus on, because where focus goes, your energy will flow. So where are you placing your attention? Is it negativity? Is it worry? Is it fearful? Is it in the past? Where is it? So we got to focus and just be mindful. And we got to generate ourselves daily. That's the thing. That's the message I want to get across. Because you are it. You are the one you've been waiting for. KO fear. We're all experiencing at the moment. So fear, what I love, what a great word. Fear. Face everything and rise. Now, this is a great time to rise. Face everything and rise, because you got to respect yourself. You got to honor yourself, because you are the one you've been waiting for. So it's time to rise up, and it's an exciting time. So would being able to confront and overcome your fears be of value to it? They would, right? Being fearless. Would you like to be fearless? Now, I remember when I was boxing, overcoming fear every single fight, every fight that I had. And I'll go back to when I was 13, I was boxing in the national schoolboy finals, and it was going to be decided who was the best in the whole country. And I was absolutely petrified. I couldn't eat the night before. I couldn't sleep. I was an absolute wreck. And when it came to my turn to box, so my dad was my coach in my corner. As I went to put the gloves on, I looked at my dad and said, "Dad, I can't do it, Dad. I can't do it." I was petrified. And my dad looked at me and said, "What? What do you mean you can't do it? Jesus." My dad's Irish, by the way. He said, "You can't do it. What do you mean?" I said, "Dad, I feel sick. I feel sick. I can't do it." He goes, clipped me around the back of the ear. He says, "Go and be sick then." So I ran off. I found somewhere to be sick. I threw up. I wiped the sick from my mouth. I stepped up into the ring, a petrified young man, and I stepped out a champion. So that boy there, he realized that, you know what? And this is a message for you. If you can find the courage to step up, to rise up, put yourself at risk, even be prepared to fail, you can succeed. But it's about confronting your fear. If you can start to knock out your fear consistently on a regular basis, you'll be able to produce results in the face of any circumstance. I promise you. So I want you to think about, what would confronting and overcoming your fear open up for you? That's something to consider. What would it make available? So if you could challenge and confront your fears, whatever they are now, what would it open up for you? That's something to consider. Step number 3 is about fighting for what you want. A lot of us are not really clear. We're not really focused on what it is that we do want. So that's another key thing, is clarity of purpose. So now as we all come back into this new world, have we all got clarity of purpose? Are we all aligned in everything that we're doing together and team, right? Because it's so important to have a team. Without teamwork, the dream don't work. It's being mindful of each other as well. Obviously, we've got everything that we've got to deal with. It's a bit crazy, right? But fight for what you want. Have clarity of purpose. Now, I was fighting in Las Vegas, my first challenge for the world title. But before that, I won the British, the Commonwealth, and the European Championships. I defended the European title 3 times. So I got a shot at the world title. And it was a brutal contest. I got bashed up, unlocking my full potential. I got bashed up. I got stopped in the 9th round. And it was a tough night's work. It was a hard day at the office. So my dream had been shattered, as well as my nose. But it's an occupational hazard, right? And we've got different hazards now. With the life that we live in, we got different occupational hazards. But it's about being clear and fighting for what you want. Are you clear at what you're fighting for? I mean, we're all in business. We're all fighting for our business. But I want to go back to what, for yourself personally, for your business and your work, and then your life. So we're clear about what we're engaging in, the battles ahead of us. We've got to choose our battles carefully and pick the fights that we want to win, and being clear and focused on the outcome. And we do that month, week by week, month by month, right? As we're coming back into it. So let's get really, really clear. Step number 4. Now this is all about the future that you're living into. You're only as good as your next fight. You're only good. We're only as good as these next. So here we are, right? We're just entering into June. Now I look at June as being round number 6 of the 12-round championship battle. This thing called 2020, right? So we might have won the first 2, 3 rounds. We might have lost rounds 4 or 5. Here we are, round 6, June, summer. How are we going to be? Who are we going to be? Are we going to win this round? Because we're now entering back into the challenge, the battle, 2020. We can still win the fight. It ain't over. The best is yet to come. If you believe that and start to act upon it, we'll get the results. We've had to take a few on the chin, but that's life. So you're only as good as that future, because it ain't based upon the past. It's all about what we're designing and creating. So I got another shot at the world title. Wembley Arena. Yes, Wembley Arena. Thousands of people there, boxing a guy called Stevie Johnson. He was the best in the world. He was brilliant, and he was so quick. He was fast, man. He's like unbelievable. Now, the first half of the fight was an absolute battle. He was so quick. Eventually, when the full 12 rounds, I go to the center of the ring and I'm awaiting the decision. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Stevie Johnson. But there's a lot of controversy after this fight because he failed the drug tests. No wonder I couldn't catch him. I hate people who take drugs. The police, customs and excise. I hope you got that one. So you know what? Things are not always going to go our way, right? Things are not always going to work out for us. I felt cheated. I was so disappointed. He went back to America with his world title belt, and I went back to Luton with more stitches in my face. But you know what I learned from this fight? That disappointment. To produce world-class results, you've got to be powerful in the face of adversity, setbacks, and defeat. So we're in a bit of adversity now, right? So to be powerful, it's going to take something. We've got to generate something within us. We've got to look for it. We've got to dig deep. And you may need help because we don't have all the answers. Get yourself a coach, read books, Surround yourself with the right environment, because we are a product of our environment. So what are you listening to? What are you reading? Who are you talking to? Are you getting empowered and uplifted and inspired to move on for the next part of this year? Because what future are you living into? And it's your life by your design. That's the bit you want to get. Get fully responsible. Because when I retired from boxing, I really struggled. I lost my identity, Billy the boxer, then I was just Billy, and who was Billy? I had no future to live into. I had to reinvent and create myself. So lots of us now are reinventing and recreating our businesses and ourselves alongside of it. So it's something to consider. And we have to be responsible. And when I got fully responsible for my life, because when I went through depression, I went through a divorce, I went bankrupt, I lost everything. In the first 2 years of my retirement from boxing were the worst 2 years of my life, and the impact was devastating. I lost my house, I lost everything, I had no money, I had no future. And that was the reinvention. I felt like a complete failure. So I had to take that on board, and eventually I found the courage, got myself a coach, started to dismantle myself and recreate myself and reinvent myself, did loads of work on myself. And I had an epiphany, because I really got that my life is my responsibility. Now I say that to you, it makes sense, right? We all hear that, but really I want you to get that your future is your responsibility. And I hope you can get it like I got it, because it knocked me out. It was like, wow. So then in that moment, the future occurred different, because I shed something. I had to let go of I was like a victim of my situation. I had to let go of it. So let's not be a victim of this period of our lives right now, what we're going through. Let's not be victims. But who says so? You say so. So whatever you say goes. So let's step up, let's rise up, and let's be the best that we can be. And you've got to take it on the chin, right? Because life is not perfect. And that's just the way that it is. So it's being resilient and powerful in the face of what we're dealing with right now. That's valuable and that's priceless, because if you can carry that forward with you and create and step into that future with that power, then we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be really okay. We're gonna win. We're gonna win the game. We're gonna win the game of 2020, because it ain't over yet. We've got a long way to go yet for this year. So I got another shot at the world title. So I had 2 defeats. I've been the British, the Commonwealth, the European champion. I lost 2 fights for the challenges for the world title. And I got another shot. Wembley Conference Centre, boxing Colin Dunn. It was an absolute epic battle. It was voted contest of the year by the British Boxing Board of Control. And it went the full 12 rounds. And I'm sitting there after rounds 11. I come out to the 12th round. I gave it everything. I summoned up every bit of energy that I had, and I battled. The bell went, the fight's over. I go to the centre of the ring. I'm awaiting the decision. Now, did I do enough? Had I done enough? And I wait, and the referee grabs hold of my wrist, and I can feel him tightening his grip, and I thought he was going to lift my hand up in victory. I make the announcement, ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Colin Dunn. So I'd lost again. So the doubt, do you ever doubt yourself? We all do it, right? We're all human beings. We're not invincible, but we have to get our strength from somewhere. Because in life, take it on the chin. I know lots of you are business owners, and we've had to take a few knocks, right? It's about stepping up and rising up again. Here's the thing about Walt Disney. It's about not quitting, right? It's about having the ability to come back. Comeback ability. What a great word. Bounce back ability. So this period of our lives, right, is either going to define you, diminish you, or it's going to develop you. So which one is it going to be? Define you, diminish you, or develop you? So let's develop ourselves during this time. So I don't know what you've been doing for the last 2 months. Have you been utilising the time wisely? How have you been spending your time? Have you been looking out for yourself, your mental well-being, your mental health, your physical well-being, your physical health? What have you been doing? Only you know. I don't know. So all we got to concern ourselves with It's about creating the future, because the past is the past, and we got to deal with what we got to deal with, right? We're still dealing with the pandemic, whatever. So let's just focus on what we can control, because there's a lot of stuff that we can't control. So let's not get too focused on it. Let's not get too caught up in it and get mangled by it. Let's be responsible for ourselves and what we can create, and don't give up and don't quit, and take a few on the chin and step up and rise up and be resilient. And that's required right now, more so than ever. And we got to jab and move. Now, as a boxer, we're always looking for new angles, new opportunities. So now's the perfect time for business owners, for guys who are working. Let's just get really present, and let's get really clear of the value that we're going to bring to the business, to the lives of the people that we're working with, and how can we serve. It's about being of service right now, I think, as well. Because it's not about taking all the time. It's about let's look at, I mean, if you look at the communities that have been created in this time. So let's get together, let's support one another. And you're in a great club. This is a great club of like-minded people supporting one another to be the best that we can all be, to survive, come through this time, and create a successful business. And for us all to win, each and every one of us together, to win together. Well, now, whatever your role is, you're very important. We're all very important. It's so key. We are all key. We're all so important. So it's respect and honor for ourselves and others at this time, especially. I think it's so key. And we got to take the losses on the chin, and we got to move on. So we got to look for new ways of winning. And especially these days, things are very, very different, right? Things are very different, but it's a great opportunity. We can grow through these times, and it's an exciting time. Listen, I know it sounds a bit weird, but I'm excited by the future. We got to take it on. Let's grab it. It's being back to react and respond. That's jabbing and moving, right? If you can react and respond quickly and effectively under pressure. Now, we're all under pressure. So coming back into the workplace, it's all going to be different. So we got to just give ourselves a bit of time, look out for one another, do the best we can, but we got to get back to it. We got to get back to the job at hand and serve, because that's what, listen, we got to serve somebody. Bob Dylan, there's a great Bob Dylan track called You Got to Serve Somebody. We're all serving somebody. So let's embrace serving and being the best that we can be. So it's about digging deep, right? So I got another shot of the world title, my 4th attempt. Wembley Conference Centre. Now the fight was an absolute battle. Now the fight started, a boxer, a guy called Newton Villarreal from Colombia. Now the fight started, in the second round, I hit him, boom. I hit him so hard. He went over in the second round, and I'm thinking, wow, this is it. What a great start. I'm going to be the champion of the world. And I thought, I connected so perfectly. I thought, if he gets up from that, there's no way he can get up from that. If he gets up, I'm going home. And he got up, didn't he? He got up, and we battled for another 10 rounds, and it went the full distance. I got back to my corner. I'm absolutely exhausted, and I'm waiting for the decision. Now, the voice in my head, the mental boxing match. Could I have done a bit more? Could I have given a bit more? Did I do it? Did I do enough? And I eventually got to hear the words I've been waiting all my life to hear.
He's done it! Billy Schwer! Exhausted, shattered, but so delighted, as are all the faithful that have been following his career for 11 years. Billy Schwer has got his just reward at the end of it.
Yay! It's showtime! I achieved the dream, right? I shed blood, sweat and tears, all in pursuit of the dream. I have a dream! What dream do you have? I'm excited for you. Let's get it on. Jab and move, right? Coming out of this pandemic, what are you going to do differently? Write it down, think about it, create it, speak to your team. What are you going to do differently? How are you going to be different? What does it look like? Who you got? I'm excited because we are just pure potential. We are limitless. If we can tap into ourselves, that inner force, the power, and connect with it and create and serve, then we're going to get everything that we want for ourselves and our lives, because that's the place to look at. What do you want for yourself and for your life and for your business and for your work? And then get to work and think about it, create it and generate it and cause it. It's all about boxing clever. So more success, right? We all want to experience more of that. So what does it look like? It's about engaging with the first 6 steps. It's about win or lose, you choose. It's about the choices you're making. KO fear, step number 2. Just acknowledge and confront yourself daily. What is it? What's beyond your fears? Fight for what you want. Get your team aligned. Get clear, get focused, and create the future and fight for it. Hatch a plan and fight till you get the plan done. That's what's possible. You're only good as your next fight. Right, so we've got the future. Let's design and create it. Not based upon the past. Look, get the lessons from the past, bring it with us. Let's reinvent ourselves. We can come out of this even better. Why not? Let's reinvent and recreate ourselves and be better versions of ourselves. That's available and that's possible. Jab and move, look for a new approach. Maybe it's great. It's a great opportunity to let the past be. Shed ourselves. Let that be in the past, and let's come out of this a new being and have new ways of being and take it on the chin. We've had to take it on the chin. We know that. We can all do that. We've all got the ability to come back. We're champions at heart, right? It's like what's in your heart, and support one another. So we all get lifted up at the same time, because some are going to be slower than others to come into the fold. But the leaders, the ones, let's all support one another and serve one another so we can all fulfill everybody's needs and wants and desires. Because desire, right? That's it. That's the focus. Desire is a starting point of all achievement. So as a business, as a person, you really want to get clear and focus on what it is that you do want. And who's in your corner and who's got your back. Now, if you'd like me in your corner, as I said earlier, I've created this new program. Please, you'll feel free. Give me an email, drop me a text message, let me know, and let's have a conversation about it. Because it's all about the future. It ain't about the past. And that's what's so exciting right now. It's about generating and causing ourselves. And that's been like a bit of a whirlwind of the 7-step winning formula. So Dean, I know you want to, if you've got any questions, anyone want to interact, anything you want to add, Gary, let's get it on.
I'll kick off, Billy, with a question. As I said when I introduced you, one of the most energetic people I've ever met. You left Gary thoroughly bruised with the tactile pinching and pulling that you two were doing to each other. What's your ritual every morning when you get up? I've been into exercise and getting up and pushing yourself through to keep that kind of level of energy, to give the positivity every morning, because people are going to need that in this back to work world. They've not been used.
It's so I'm pretty regular. So I have a nice routine. So I drink lots of water. First thing, my days vary. So some days I meditate most days, not every day. So some days I'll get up at 5, 6, and I try to allow a couple of hours of meditation if I can. That's not every day. Some days I'll do an hour. Again, it's not every day, but I have an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, I'll do my rituals. It all depends on what I've got going on for the day. So when I meditate, I'm connecting with source energy, myself, and I get an opportunity to create the day and create myself and create what I'm all about. So that's my first initial thing. Then I'll come downstairs, I'll drink a litre, maybe 1.5 litres of water. Then I'll have a couple of black coffees. So I fasted as well. So I wouldn't have eaten from maybe 6 or 7 the night before. So I won't eat again. I mean, today I've probably done a 20-hour fast. Today, I've been out for a 5-mile run. So before I was with you guys, I did a 5-mile run and some stretching. I've obviously done some work this morning. So I'm constantly looking at my physical being, my mental well-being. So I go for a run. I'm listening to a book. So then I'm doing 2 things at once. So I'm physically exercising. I'm getting back into my running. So my cardiovascular fitness. But then I'm listening to a book at the same time. So I've done 2 things at once. So I'm educating myself as well as getting physically fit. I come into stretching in the garden. So I'm very much into the body, I'm physical strength, well-being. And so the energy is like a generated thing. And what I get for myself, what has me be where I am today, because I've not always been like this. When I was going through my depression, when I went through my divorce, I've been bankrupt twice, lost everything. I've crashed. I was in the depths of despair. So to be where I am now, from there, that's been a real journey. And that's been a real self-development, personal growth journey. I've taken myself to pieces to discover who I am and the future that I'm creating. So what has me have the energy is I've done the work, a lot of inner work on myself. And I've got to a point where I love myself. I never used to love myself. I used to think I'd love to use a real strong word here, but I won't. I love myself now. I love my life, and I love the future that I'm creating, because I'm fully responsible for everything. And I've chosen the path that I've chosen, and it's not easy. It's been tough. I'm having to invent things and create things like all these guys. I'm a business owner. I'm a business owner, operator. I'm generating lead generation. You know, I'm doing that all the time. Sales, lead generation, marketing. But it's all about, this is the bit to really get. Step number 4, you're only good as your next fight. It's all about the future that you're living into, because it's not based upon the past. Because I sit here today, Dean, I'm happier, more fulfilled and satisfied than I've ever been, ever. Even today, right? I know it sounds a bit crazy, but that's how I feel. And that's the truth. And that's my truth. And that's my reality. And it ain't based upon anyone else or anything that's happening. I'm just generating myself. Because I've come from the depths of despair. I know the difference. And I've done the work, the inner work to get me, because we think happiness, fulfillment, satisfaction is it's like an external thing. It may exist in the car, the house, the lifestyle, the clothes, the stuff, but it don't exist there. It's an inside job. So when you go and do the inner work, then it gives you an access to this. And this is available for each and every one of us. And that's what I want to give away to people. My mission in life is, I have a vision, right? My vision is I'm out to rock the world and cause a phenomenon, right? But my mission is the transformation of the middle-aged man. Can you imagine what the world would be like if middle-aged men were transformed? Wouldn't it? Ever? I'm looking at you. Wouldn't it be a different place, right? And that's my mission, because a lot of middle-aged men that I work with, we're kind of stuck. They haven't got this vibrancy, but it's available. And that's my passion. And my passion is passion, power, and purpose, being on purpose. And it's available. So I don't know if that answered the question. I went a bit around the houses, I think.
It definitely did. Besides the running, keeping fit and everything else, you and Gary are 2 peas in a pod. But
dickhead. Can I ask a question?
Questions for Billy? Go on.
Yeah, can I do one?
Please, Gary, yeah.
Billy, right, so you're in your corner.
Yeah.
It's not a shock that you're losing the fight. That they were close. They were very, very close, but you were losing the fight. What did your cornerman say to you, knowing that you were losing, to make you actually step up, give it a go, fucking have a go? What did they say to you?
It's like, well, you know the score. So as a team leader, as a business owner, you're kind of doing the same thing, right? So you can relate. It's related. So my coaches and my cornermen, they're trying to give you, they can see things that you can't see in a fight. So as a coach, you can see things in people's businesses that they can't see because you've got that experience and you're seeing it from the outset. So as a coach, you're looking at people's lives. As a boxing coach, you're looking at their performance and you can see things that the boxer can't see. I can see things in people's lives that they can't see because I've experienced a lot of those things as well, and I'm coming at it from a neutral perspective, and it's different. So then that's the power there, and then we add the value in, and then you've got to go and apply it. So as a boxer, it's very, very difficult when you're in the heat of a fight. You do revert back to old. So you're programmed and conditioned, as we all are, as middle-aged men. So my programming and conditioning is to attack, defend, resist, and confront and fight. That's my programming from a kid of 8 years of age. Now that works really well in the boxing arena, but it doesn't work very well in life. Ask my ex-wife, she'll tell you, just don't work. It's those attributes that what had me win over there in the boxing arena were having me fail outside. So a lot of us can't see that for ourselves. So it's great to have a coach that can see things that you can't see, that adds the value in, shares things in a certain way, which then gives you an access to something else.
But Billy, right?
It's the application of the knowledge.
But I'm just really interested. Right? Let me ask you the same question differently, right? So when you're being bruised and beaten up, and you're fighting the best fight you can, were you willing to listen to what the guy had to say to you, right? Because what I'm guessing as a coach in the corner, when you got a few seconds, he's going to give you one or two clear directions, right? He's not going to give you loads. He's going to say, okay, this ain't working, try that on one thing. What was your appetite, right? At that time, you're being absolutely, you're bang in the middle of a wall. What was your appetite to listen?
It's difficult because you're fighting for your life, literally. And depends on how the fight's going. If you're behind and you're bashed up, you might have cuts. So you might be in the corner and you might have a cut. So you've got the cuts man trying to stop the flow of blood. And you've got your other coach trying to give you words of wisdom in those moments. But when you're under that immense pressure, it's difficult to listen. And like I said, you're trying to take the advice on board, and it's going to be a very simple thing, one or two things, like you say, but then it's about the implementation of it. That's the mastery, and that's very difficult to do when you're under that immense pressure. But that comes down to training, your conditioning over years and years of having the ability to take that on board. But then you come out and you're going to fight, and you will revert back to old. Because there's not going to be too much things that you need to do differently, because you're going to have a certain style, a certain way of doing things, because you can't go and do something completely new to a degree. It might be something like just keep your hands up or something, just that little bit more, your footwork. It could be something simple. If you were to take that on board, would make a big difference.
I'm going to throw this over to everyone, but the one thing at the moment that I think people are going to come back into work, and they are absolutely brilliant at what they do. They left through this disease that came from outer space. They've gone back to home, and they're going to come back into work, and they're rusty as fuck. But they need to now come out absolutely fighting, and they've lost a bit of confidence. What could you say to some of the guys who are coming back into work now, who actually are going to be a slightly nervy about picking up the phone and doing the things that they are absolutely brilliant at, but their confidence might be slightly shot because we love them. We know that they're going to be brilliant at it. We know they can do what they're going to do. They just need someone. And I'm going to lean on you. What would you say to people who are coming back into work now, who just need that shot of adrenaline to say, go on, you can do it?
And it's about whether you need that shot of adrenaline. I don't know whether you need that or whether you need that motivation, because motivation is it's kind of hard work, and it's to be motivated. It's like, are you motivated to go to the gym? It's like hard work. But let's get inspired. So if we can get inspired to get back on the phone, then you're going to take inspired actions. Now, if you're all a bit wary, totally understandable. So you got to slowly, small steps. And then but then you've got to remember, right, whoever that we're speaking to on the other end of the phone, they're going through the same thing. So if that's something that's relevant for you, you can even open the conversation and utilize that to get that out of the way, if you know what I mean. So if you're challenged or you're struggling, get that, or you could get yourself clear with a work colleague. If you're dealing with something, you need to get it off your chest, spoken out, so then you can disappear it, get yourself clear, to then get on the phone and engage with others. But we're all human beings. We've all gone through something very unique. So and we're all connected, right? And we're all human beings. We're all experiencing the same thing. So we can build relationships, I think, right now. You can come out of this and really get connected and really build some really good rapport with some good people, because this moment of our lives, as we come out of it, we could get some really good connections, I think. It's an opportunity, I think, to connect
100%.
with as many people as you can and build those relationships now, these next few months, because when we come out of it, it'll all be different. But now, it's because we're all human beings, and it's okay to be vulnerable and show our vulnerability. And we don't have to be bravado and be egocentrical. It's not about that. Let's get all that out of the way, because that's not going to work either. It's about serving one another. So whoever you get on the phone to, what I try and do for myself in the morning, I try and get in my head, whoever I'm speaking to, I try and visualize they're having if I'm about to speak to somebody, I think to myself, just speak to them as though they're having a really bad day. So if someone's having a really bad day, how would you speak to them? Or if you was having a really bad day, how would you want to be spoken to? So then I kind of ease into conversations differently. But I think this time right now is an opportunity.
Billy, I 100% agree. This is the best time ever to be on the phone speaking to clients, because it's the first day of senior school, right? It's the first day, right? And everyone's got that butterflies in their stomach coming back. Does everyone know how to log back into their CRM? Does everyone know how to use the phone properly? It's a little bit like that. Dave, no, I'm sorry to monopolise, mate. I'll chuck it back to you, because I'm sure loads of people got questions.
Anyone's got any questions?
If you've got a question, just ping off mute, ask Billy a question, and yeah, that'd be good.
Let's get it on. Don't be shy, boys, girls. Everyone's got rather shy. Come on, Tim Norrie, give me a question.
Billy, at the point you've just won the title in that last fight you showed us.
Yes.
I'm guessing you're exhausted, but what was going through your head when your hand was raised? Because you didn't look that happy.
That's a really good point, because after that fight, I ended up in hospital. I took a shot around the back of the head, and I was concussed. So I was in the ring trying to lift the belt up, and this belt is really, really heavy, really heavy. And I was trying to lift it up, and I was gone. I was out of my head. I went back to the changing room, and I'm like, I'm in a haze, can't see properly. So then we'd organise a big after-fight party in Luton. So I'm in the car on the way to Luton, and I start to feel sick. So I pull the car over, and I'm violently sick. So the alarm bells start to ring, and we went straight to the Luton and Dunstable Hospital, and I was stuck in Luton and Dunstable Hospital for 2 days. Everyone's partying without me. They're going, "Where's Billy? Where's Billy?" And I'm stuck in hospital. But it was, when I tried to lift the belt up, it was kind of a lot of relief. It was like, okay, so I've achieved the thing that I've been fighting all my life to achieve. And it was a lifetime's work in pursuit of a dream. And I eventually got there, and it's like a relief, and it was euphoric, and it was painful, and it was everything all at the same time. But it was tough. It was agony, because I took a big punch around the back of the head. I was gone.
You know, that exact moment where the ref's lifting your hand, you can feel the muscles in your shoulder moving and your arm being lifted. Were you fully aware of what was going on at that time, or because of concussion, was it a bit all over the place?
It was a bit all over the place, to be honest. It was I was in a bit of a haze. It was like that's a great way of describing it. It was a bit of a haze. And I was trying to, all the people that were there have been with me right throughout my career. So we've got a lot of real close people there, and it was an achievement for us all. It wasn't just for myself; it's for everyone else. We had loads of people from Luton there, and it was a euphoric moment, an achievement, an accomplishment. And here's the thing: it wasn't quite as sweet as what I thought it was, because the experience was different. You would imagine it to be something else, right? You'd imagine it to be slightly different. You'd be joyous and la, 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 but it wasn't. I was stuck in hospital for 2 days. And that's why life, right? It's like life comes at you in all varieties of ways. And either way, however you get it, just get it, take it, be with it, don't resist it. And it's about acceptance of it. So what we're dealing with now is just a perfect time to be settled and be accepting of it, focus on what we control, and then keep moving and jabbing and moving.
And after those 3 defeats that you had from the previous title fights, I'm sure you probably had some doubts at some point about maybe jacking it in or whatever. What took you away from that?
Again, right, so it's about the future that you're living into. So my dream was to become a world champion. So that was in the future. So the stuff, the disappointments, the upsets, the adversity, all of that stuff that I had to deal with, was just I had to deal with that in the present moment. But then into the future, that's where I placed my attention. So that kept pulling me forward, if that makes sense. So that step number 4 is so powerful. If you can embrace that, if we can get out of our heads and into a future which will pull us forward, if we're living into an inspiring future, that's going to take us, we're going to go and take inspiring actions. And you don't have to be motivated. If you're inspired to move somewhere, you don't have to find motivation because it's there anyway. And that's what had me keep going. In the face of defeat, adversity, upset, feeling cheated, all of that stuff. And I was driven by an inner force. The force was because I wanted to prove something. My whole life I've been trying to prove I'm not weak and I'm good enough. I wanted to prove I was good enough. I wanted to excel at something. I wanted to be somebody, be something. Because I didn't get on very well at school. I've got no academia. I was none of that. So then boxing was my outlet, my vehicle for me to express myself and to succeed in something, which I wouldn't have had any other way.
Cracking story, man.
Billy, just go. I've got one more. Billy, as an elite sportsman, reaching the pinnacle of what you set out to do, was it about the joy of winning or the fear of failure?
It's a great point. So the fear of failure, so moving away from motivator. So I was driven by I wanted to prove something. So that was driving me forward. So that's the fear of failure. But the joy of winning. So I think the moving away from the fear of is a very powerful motivator. That drives people forward, but that can be exhausting and tiring, and it may not be joyous. So if you can get the two together, and what's the second part of that? Was it the winning? Was that, how did you say it?
The joy of winning or the fear of failure?
Yeah, so the joy, they're both, and that's both to a certain degree. So the joy of winning, obviously that's what we're all looking to achieve, but what's driving us is a fear of failure, a fear of losing. So
which is interesting because all the elite sports people we've spoken to, once you set yourself on a journey and you're committed to it and you put so many years of dedication and sacrifice into it, it's never about, it's a relief when you win. It's the drive of never actually achieving it. That's what shits people up. Totally shits me up. It's always about, I can't put my name above the door of anything unless I know I'm going to win.
Yes.
Because otherwise I'm going to, it's a fear of failure. It's powerful motivator.
And that's it, yeah. So it's tapping into both. Because the trouble is that can affect the quality of our lives. If we're focused on the fear all the time, we want to live a quality life, right? So then if we're focused on that and the past and stuff, that kind of impact it. So what I like to do is I like to create the future. a compelling and an exciting future. Dream it into existence, daydream it, and then walk into that future. Take the required actions that you need to take over time, then meet that future. You walk into it.
We start Dean talking about Barbados or Butland soon. So it's you choose the direction you're going to go.
Choose the destination. That's it.
I've loved that. Were there any other questions? Otherwise, Dean's going to close off because we're over time.
So I'd like to say thank you to Billy. That was inspiring, energetic as always. I'd like to point out, probably a couple of years ago, my boat went missing. And I've just noticed on this Zoom gallery that Spencer might have acquired it. He seems to be sitting on it.
He's a dick. He's also had a very, very bad haircut. So it's right. Okay.
That's a very bad haircut. And look, Billy's email address, his website's there. I think he's giving away first few chapters of his book for free on that site. I've read that book and actually given it to members of my staff because although it's Man Up, it's not just about men, but it is. It's an easy read, but it's also just you read it and you can assimilate with it so easily. And my staff have found it really interesting as well. So a good book, I think one you could probably pass out to many of your consultants and be really good to read yourself as well. Also, guys, if you want to, I'm going to give you this. If you want to come over to LinkedIn, I've created this Gary, you like this, didn't you? If you can see that.
Yeah, I love it.
So what I'd like for you to do, guys, come over. If you could give me a recommendation on LinkedIn, once you do that, I'll then send you this. I'll attach this into a message to you. So if you wouldn't mind, come and leave me a recommendation. I'll send you this. It's a great piece. The top 10 mistakes that you might be unintentionally making. It's worth a read. Check it out. So come and hook me up on LinkedIn.
Thank you, Billy, mate.
I think everyone want to take that up. Go on, Gary. Did you say something?
Yeah, no, I'll just say, Billy, thank you very much, mate. You've done a couple of chats for us. That was the most relevant, most on point, exactly of the moment, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your energy is inspiring, and I'm actually sweating just watching you.
I just wish everyone everything that they want. Go get it. Go get it. It's available.
Brilliant. Cheers, brother.
Thank you.
Dean.
Thank you, Billy.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, mate. Bye-bye.
Thank you.